Well, you know, Dennis, we've known each other for years, and we've talked a little bit about this in the past, but I'd like for you to explain why it is that now you felt this calling on your heart to bring this product as a part of your ministry.
Well, first of all, I got to confess that, you know, for years I didn't have the sensitivity that I should have had for folks that are struggling with alcohol or drugs and addiction. You know, I guess I tried to, you know, sometimes I'd have the attitude, hey, just stop it, quit it, be disciplined, you know. Didn't always hurt or feel for folks, but I tell you what, when it comes to your own home, to one of your loved ones,
Yep.
and you start realizing how hard it is on them, when you understand that 1 out of 10 people, just the way they're wired, their genetics can't quit, and that it consumes them, and they need help and love and understanding, and so when my youngest son, you know, began having alcohol problems, and it was a series of them, and you know, at first you think, well, it's just, you know, college or being a young person,
right.
And then all of a sudden, one event after another, and you know, you can click on and get Dusty's testimony with,
That's right,
and his interview with you, but
and it's a powerful testimony
yeah,
too. I can't wait for them to hear it.
Yeah. But finally, in the midst of all that, I'll tell you, my old heart was broken. And I have a greater sensitivity to people now than I've ever had before. And, you know, people that hurt. And I realize there's people at church that hurt. There's hurting people everywhere. My preaching professor used to always say, remember when you get up to preach, there's people out there are hurting. Well, I understand about that hurt now.
Oh, yeah.
And so, anyhow, when Dusty finished rehab and, you know, kept on growing and doing well and recovering, going to AA meetings, going to Celebrate Recovery, you know, working with his sponsor, working with significant people and working his programs and all that, I began to grow and learn. And I often thought maybe one day Dusty could help someone, you know. And
then one day at a barbecue restaurant.
That's right.
I don't know why I was in there by myself that day, and I was right at the end of the pay counter, right where you check out, and you walked up and you said, well, hey, Doug, how you doing? And you stood there talking to him. I said, why don't you sit your tray down? And the Lord led you to open up your heart, though, to me. You just leaned over and we talked for a minute, and you said, I want to tell you what's happened in my life. And you told me about that. And that's when a different relationship started between you and me. And it's gone on for a few years now.
And so we talked about that. And then, you know, ever so often after that, 6 months later, hey, do you think you would ever be interested in in this project, or, you know, to help people? I said, well, I don't know, maybe one day.
Right.
And then I'd say, well, if Dusty's ready.
That's right.
Well, now over these years, since way back there of 2008, now in God's time, now Dusty is ready.
He is.
He's mature. His time is now.
He's in seminary, and he wants to do the work
people.
of the Lord.
He's been helping people.
That's right.
He's been fleshing out the 12 steps in his life. And so all of a sudden I said, Doug, I think we're ready.
Yeah.
And
I went to New Orleans and met with Dusty, and I had a real heart-to-heart talk with him. And he said, Doc, I'm ready to do this.
Yeah.
I want to do this.
Because I wanted it to be his decision. And it was even funny after that, for the first time, he came to me one night and said, Dad, I want you to go to AA meeting with me in the morning.
How was that?
I'd never been with him to one ever, and I was so honored to go with him. And the whole time I sat there, I was so honored and so proud of him and everyone there who were getting help. And I thought, oh, how much more could we help people like these folks if it's through the internet?
Absolutely.
So we're on board, and I'm proud and I'm honored to talk about it and to share with people and to let it be a part of our ministry of encouragement.
Well, I want to say this too. I'm proud of you because this is a very big step for you, and I know this is something that you start with, gosh, we don't want anybody to know, and you've come full cycle like I did. You know, in my career, when it first happened, man, I want anybody to know.
Yeah.
And then eventually I got to the point where, just skip a lot of chapters, I decided I'd open a treatment center and tell everybody about
Right.
it and help as many people as I
Right,
could. And that's what
exactly.
you're doing now.
Yeah, that's
So
what
it's
it's
great.
all about.
It's great.
Amen.